Hey y'all, Miss Ladybug here, doing one of our end of the day little chats. And I'm not really sure what all I want to talk about. I just felt like checking in with y'all. One thing, so a few things that came up have been coming up on Facebook memories. That's a lovely thing, and it's a bitch of a thing at times. I mean, it's wonderful about things that we want to remember, but when things that we're trying to let go of come up, that's not always the best. And I will say, finally, I'm eliminating some of those things. Those things that trigger me, that when they come up, I just get rid of them. Oops. I just get rid of them. Don't need them. Don't need to see that next year. I just don't. I have the memories I have and the ones that I want to really cherish and nurture and have reoccur. I'll let those be there. But I have a lot of stuff. When you have PTSD and you've had ongoing traumas, you have stuff that happens and you don't want to be reminded of. You don't want to be reminded of those people, those places, those experiences. So while I don't think that, we don't want to have an elimination culture, we don't have a cancel culture. I'm not canceling, those things were part of my history. But I don't need to have a social media thing like Facebook bringing me back to that, right? I have PTSD. I have complex PTSD. That is being treated. And I have enough memories that cause me distress or discomfort that I'm working through. I don't need to have those reminders. So, yeah, I sometimes it's hard seeing those things. It gets that whole spin cycle going again. And those of you that know what we know about coming off meds, that spin cycle is never beneficial. There's nothing to come of fruition from that. There's nothing you're going to benefit from getting on a spin cycle. So eliminating the triggers, if possible, or modulating them to where you can better manage them, that's the way, right? Yeah. Anyway, so I went to a comedy thing tonight. And something I've kind of wondered about and been curious about and explored a little bit in my own thoughts is that I have a little bit of anedonia. My emotions are kind of flat. Flat or low. I don't feel a big charge about much of anything anymore. And it used to be I did. I kind of miss that. I really do kind of miss that. I used to feel real happy about things or joy. And while I'm not severely depressed, I know that I have been experiencing some depression this winter. I will admit that. There have been a few things that happened, some losses, some family upsets, some, and I had COVID again, and so I'm dealing with, some long hauler stuff again, and so I just kind of realized that, well, it was funny, and haha, I can laugh, but my heart's not in it. And I guess that is what anedonia kind of is like. It's like you can go there and you can go, oh, or you can, go to a funeral and, oh, I'm so sorry. But you're not really feeling it. You're just kind of like, okay, I'm doing what society says that is appropriate in these circumstances. I'm laughing when it's appropriate and I'm showing remorse when it's appropriate, but I'm not really feeling it, which is really kind of weird because I've always been kind of a feely person and I like my feels. I like my feels. So not having that, there's satisfaction in having great joy or extreme happiness. And there's also some satisfaction in really feeling sadness for what's real and what's happening. And to not really be able to truly experience those emotions, that they're just kind of, oh yeah, yeah, that's it. And that's kind of how it feels. It's kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of sad. Oh, yeah, that was kind of nice. It's, and I'm a smiley person, so I keep smiling, but I'm not feeling it all. So I'm working on stuff. I'm embarking on yet another part of my journey. Something that I've already done a little bit of, but I'm doing it actually with a guide and some direction a little bit. I'm going to be utilizing plant medicine in the form of mushrooms, and I have done microdosing and have had nothing but good has happened every time I've done it. I've done it, a couple times over the last 3 years, and it's always been good. I'm always like, why do I not do this more often? So I'm going to start working with someone and utilizing mushrooms for depression and PTSD, and coupled with my therapy. I'm still doing therapy and EMDR, um and I'm doing better. I'm only meeting once every 2 weeks. I started at twice a week for a little bit of time, and then I was at once a week for a long time, and now I'm at every other week, and I've been there for probably almost a year. And even through some hard stuff, but yeah, I can feel that my emotions are kind of flat, and I'd like to feel more, I guess. What else did I want to talk about? Um, my pets, my dogs, and pets in general when you have mental illness or you're sick or disabled, and caretaking in general. I don't know what I'd do if I wouldn't have had Shasta for the last 8 years. I don't know what I would have done. Truly, I don't know if I'd be here. She literally kept me going. She really did. When everybody else in the whole goddamn fucking world turned their back on me, and that's what it felt like in 2016. It truly felt that way. Maybe there were people that still loved me, but they weren't in my circle big time, and they weren't in my periphery, and they weren't there standing next to me, and felt like I was dying. And the only thing that was standing by my side was my dog. God, I love her. I love her so much. And I love her so much. And now I have Lola. Because Shasta's days are getting less for this world. And I know that. Damn it, I didn't want to cry. Anyway, Shasta's days are getting fewer for this world. And so I have Lola. And I've had a lot of pets over the hardest time of my life, the last 10 years. I did not have pets except for one dog between leaving my parents' home in 1980. Between 1980 and when I got Shasta, the only pets I'd had is I had one dog after Kevin, my third born, died, and my mom gave us a dog, a wolf. But we lost him. He was a runner and he ran away. So we only had him about a year and a half. And then I had a pet rat for a number of years. And then there were other people in my periphery that had, dogs and cats. And my daughter had ferrets for a couple years. But as far as me really having my own animal, Shasta is it for a long time. And now Lola. And, I don't have a lot. I don't have a lot of extra. But they don't go without. If we had a big major medical emergency, I'd be hard pressed. That's my truth. That is my truth. But they get good food. They get treats. They have toys. They go places with me. They have fresh water. They sleep with me. They get tons of love. And I'm so glad they're in my life. And I'm glad that the pets that have come along, I've had cats that I've rescued. Hazel had this little cutie, Hazel, and she just kind of showed up, and she was just this wildcat, and kind of, got her to where she was doing better with humans. And then I wasn't able to be there anymore, and we lost out on her. And then I had the black cats that I rescued. And then there was a dog, I think his name is Rascal, that I fostered for a little while. And the animals in my life have been wonderful. And like I said, I don't have a lot to offer. I'm not rich. They don't get, the top of the line food, but they get good food, and they get fresh water, and they get a lot of love and attention, and they get played with and walked and socialized and trained. And I'm really glad to have them in my life. Anyway, it is May 1st, and it is a new moon, and it is the space of time that is between the beginning of spring and the beginning of summer, and things are growing, and gardens are starting, and the weather has been changing, and it's a wonderful time of year. I'm very grateful for this time of year. Anyway, I'll be 60 by the end of this month. I don't even know what to think about that. I certainly didn't think I was going to be here. Even as a little child, I did not envision myself becoming an older person, and I look in the mirror and I don't see an older person. I look in the mirror and I don't see a 60-year-old woman. I remember when I was like, 5, 10, even 15 years old, and my grandparents were this age and they seemed a lot older. But that's perception. I understand how perception works. um, you know, they probably felt the way that I do when they were my age, I would imagine. My mother never made it to my age. My mother died when she was 58 years old, so I have outlived my mother. And I'm looking forward to this time, actually. It's kind of like it's going to be my time. I spent time being the child, and then I was the caretaker, and I was the caretaker for a long time. Like, I became a caretaker when I was in single digits. I was a caretaker. And so, I was a caretaker for my parents, and then I was a caretaker for my spouses and my children, and a caretaker for others along my way. And now it's my turn to take care of me. And I'm excited about that. And I'm kind of excited to just figure out what I like to do, because everything I've done most of my life has been to appease other people or for survival. And I don't feel in a survival mode. Yay. I'm not right there anymore. And I don't have to take care of anybody anymore. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this time. I really am. And I'm going to try to make the best of this month. This month is filled with mixed emotions. Lots of mixed emotions, because it's Mother's Day, which I've never really enjoyed. And that's also the day that my son Brendan died 3 years ago. It's a lot of family birthdays uh, of people I'm not really associated with anymore. My birthday comes at the very end, and it's another day. But 60 is kind of a big deal, Not everybody makes it to 60, and here I am. Anyway, so that's my ramblings for this Sunday evening. I just kind of felt chatty. I'd gone out to this comedy and probably got a little bit, what's the word I want? Just my energy kind of got wound up. And so, anyway, I came home and got myself settled in my flannels, cozied in, and just thought I'd chat with you about a few things on my mind. So, I hope y'all had a good Sunday, and I hope you embrace this time of year for the growth that happens, and the blossoms, and it's full of hope. It's full of hope. Anyway, peace, y'all.